Hey, you've got camera therapy with Mark Shelley Photography. I'm Mark. Hey, got a letter last night from Katey, who it's a three-part question. She goes, Mark, I have a Nikon D3400, and I'm using a DX70 to 300 millimeter lens. It's a 4.5 to 6.3. She's looking for crisper pictures, and she doesn't have a tripod yet, so she's asking me about tripods. So let's kind of start a little bit. This is my bad boy I use. So it's a 600 millimeter lens. So that's what we go out this one. Love wildlife photography. Great question. So I'm going to tackle this a little bit. I looked at your D3400. It's a great camera. It's a fast camera, and more importantly, you can jack up the ISO even up to like 3200. So remember that you can kick up your ISO. First thing I want you to make sure you do is that I'm going to assume you're running automatic. We don't want to go automatic. The thing with automatic is that the camera's going to take the safest picture. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best picture. I want you to go to manual. Now, something you got to remember: you're running when you zoom out to 300 millimeter, you're running 6.3. It's not the lowest light sensitive camera. So if it's dark outside, overcast, camera's going to struggle. So this is what you want to do. You want, whatever the highest millimeter is. If it's a 200 millimeter lens or a 300 millimeter lens, you want your shutter at least be equal to that. So it's got to be at least 300 millimeter or 400, or shutter's got to be at least 3 or 400 on the shutter speed. If you're running a 50 millimeter lens, you want your shutter speed at least be 50 or 60 or slightly higher. So with your camera lens not being, if it's twilight outside, dark outside, early morning and all that, what you want to do is mess with the ISO. So that's one of the reasons I want you to run manual. Pre-program your camera to put the shutter speed in maybe 7/100th of a second. It's okay to jack the ISO up to 1,000, and what it's going to do is light sensitize it so it'll compensate for the lens. And then I like to run high f numbers. You don't want to run a 2.8 or a 3.5, maybe a f5, f5.6 to get that sharpness in there. Something else you might not even realize: you're shooting a crop sensor lens. So many wildlife photographers always go with crop sensor lenses because it's a 1.5 magnification. So you're not really shooting a 300 millimeter lens. You're shooting a 105 to over 400 millimeters. That's a heck of a lens. Don't buy another lens. And if you really want to jack it up even higher, you can get what's called a teleconverter, and it'll fit your lens and add another 1.5 on there. So you can almost go up to 600 millimeters, and these things aren't that expensive. I bought this one used actually, less than 65 bucks. So that's another way to do it. But I would say probably keep with what you got. You got a 400 millimeter lens. That's a nice lens. And again, it's okay to go to manual, look at your ISO, kick it up a little bit, 1,000, 2,000, and I think you'd be in really good shape with that. You were talking about tripods. You know what I like to use when I'm in the field? I've got a mount on almost everything I have. I love, there we go, monopods. I mean, I put my camera on it, I can put it behind me, really quick adjustments. You're not setting up 3 legs, trying to get the shot and all this. I always, if I'm going wildlife photographing, birds or something like that, I go monopod. It'll keep your camera steady, keep your hand from shaking and all that. I've seen these at local retail stores like a Walmart or Myers, 20 bucks. You don't need the $75, $85, $100 version. Get yourself just a good one. And you need a mount, which is on the bottom of your camera. Screw it in. That's all you need to do. So let me make sure I hit all the questions. You got a great lens. I would mess with your ISO, kick it up a little bit. It's practice. Get out, as much as you can with your camera and mess around with it. Okay, I think we're in good shape. Hey, this is again camera therapy. Thank you for the question. Mark Shelley Photography. I'm Mark. Take care, everybody. Be safe.